and today we are worshiping him again for the nations of the world. But this time, we are worshiping him that the nations would come to know Yahweh, their shepherd, Yahweh Roy. So, the verses and prayer points that we have today for the nations to know their shepherd, who is also Israel's shepherd, and you don't want to mess with him. But anyway, our verses and prayer points are these. 1 Samuel 17:34 through 37. David persisted. I've been taking care of my father's sheep and goats. He's talking to Saul. He's saying, hey, I can take on Goliath. When a lion or bear comes to steal a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth. If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and club it to death. I have done this to both lions and bears, and I'll do it to this pagan Philistine too, for he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the claws of the lion and the bear will rescue me from this Philistine. So we're going to worship God over the nations, believing that they're going to come to know the God that will actually protect them and turn to him. And then our next verse is Psalms 28. Verse 9. And it says this, Save your people, bless Israel, your special possessions. Lead them like a shepherd and carry them in your arms forever. Now this is for Israel, but it's also for every nation that turns their heart to God. So we're going to worship the Lord over the nations, that they would come to know that the Lord wants to carry them in his arms forever. And he wants to take care of them. So they'd come to know that and that they'd turn and repent to him. Next, Psalms 78, verse 72. He cared for them. He took David from tending ewes and lambs and made him the shepherd of Jacob's descendants, God's own people, Israel. He cared for them with a true heart and led them with skillful hands. So we're going to worship God today, that they would know the God who cares for them with a true heart and leads them with skillful hands. Because that is what Jesus does. He has a true heart for us, and he leads us with skillful hands. And then Isaiah chapter 31, verse 4. But this is what the Lord has told me. When a strong young lion stands growling over a sheep it has killed, it is not frightened by the shouts and noise of a whole crowd of shepherds. In the same way, the Lord of heaven's armies will come down and fight on Mount Zion. The Lord of heaven's armies will hover over Jerusalem and protect it like a bird protecting its nest. He will defend and save the city. He will pass over it and rescue it. So we're going to worship him, that the people would come to know God this way. And so when they put their trust in God, he won't leave them. And he will protect them. And we're worshiping him not just for Israel. Israel does need to know this, but also for the nations of the world to know this. So we're worshiping for both Israel and the nations of the world. And then Isaiah 40, 10 through 14. Yes, sovereign Lord is coming in power. He will rule with a powerful arm. See, he brings his reward with him as he comes. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will carry the lambs in his arm, holding them close to his heart. He will gently lead the mother sheep with their young. So first and foremost, he carries us close to his heart. That Israel and that the nations of the world would come to know that God carries them close to his heart. And then, who else has measured the oceans in his hands? Who has measured the heavens with his fingers? Who knows the weight of the earth, or has weighed the mountains and hills on a scale? Who is able to advise the Spirit of the Lord? Who knows enough to give him advice or teach him? Has the Lord ever needed anyone's advice? Does he need instruction about what is good? Did someone teach him what is right or show him the path of justice? No, for all the nations of the world are a drop in the bucket. They are nothing more than dust on the scales. He picks up the earth as though it were a grain of sand. So he carries us closely to his heart, but he's also God who rules over the heavens. And that's important to keep in mind. That's why, like, we want him on our side, because we can't fight against a God who picks up the earth like a grain of sand. So we're going to worship him today for every single one of these, thanking God that God is going to reveal himself to the nations of the world and also to Israel, that they would be reconciled with their God.